is come here twice a year, as you all know. And whenever he comes, he's listening to our shiur. Sorry. You're asking what's happening. I don't speak loud enough. I'll speak loud. Thank you. Les coming twice a year to South Africa for business. And he asked me if we can video the shiurim so we can put it on the internet so many other people can benefit from it. And if many other people can benefit from it, why not? I say definitely yes. So don't think that it's definitely not for my publicity. It's not going to change, please God, nothing in my life. But if more people can get the shiurim that you people listening to it and can benefit from it, please God, why not? So I agree. So let's decide that you have a friend in Israel and they're going to do all the auditing. They're going to do a lot of things. With the help of Ivan, our friend Ivan, he's going to be the photographer. We'll try and put that things going on, please God. And that's the main reason that you see cameras here. That's the main reason. But everything as usual. Okay. So, בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. השיעור יהיה לעילוי נשמת אסתר קדן בת קציה, לעילוי נשמת אברהם בן דוד, לעילוי נשמת הרב זרח בן דוד וייז, מרים בת משה ושאר סביחה שולה בת שולה, ולעילוי נשמת הרב עובדיה בן גורג'יה, נשמתם תהיה צרורה בצור החיים, ולרפואת ושאר כל חולה ופצועי עמו ישראל בכל מקום שהם. Okay, so I've been asked, as you all know, to speak about the Kaddish. We've done 3 series about the Kaddish, and many of you missed some of them not. So we decide to make a new, complete, we're going to repeat everything about the Kaddish. So we have to understand, first of all, before we start, many of you never was in a show, am I right? Johan, you never was in none of them. You missed, you was in Pretoria, you had some things to do. Please God, you'll join us. You don't have to travel anymore, please God, to Pretoria. And also I would like to welcome, Gabriel and Stefan. They come from George. They're going to join us. Please God, Hatzlaha and your new road. Please God, will work smoothly. That's all I can wish you. The Kaddish. What is the Kaddish? That's the main question that everyone asks. What is the Kaddish? We explained that Kaddish, it's actually a prayer. We're going to explain, please God, how's it linked that the Mona have to say Kaddish. But if you look carefully, not only a Mona say Kaddish, okay, even the Shliach Tzibur say Kaddish. Not necessarily only a Shliach Tzibur, can be another person that say Kaddish. And who is that? That sometime, not sometime, after, and Monday and Thursday, after we finish to read the Kiryat Torah, the Baal Korah usually say Kaddish, Hatzi Kaddish. So from here we see that the Kaddish is not necessary with the Mona. So the question becomes, how is it going to link to a Mona? How come that when we say Kaddish, and I'll tell you personally, until my mom passed away, I was so frightened, I never wanted to stand by the Omed. Anyway, I don't love to daven, but I was so frightened to daven because of Kaddish. And after my mom passed away, while I was in mourning, and I was onen for almost a half a day. Everyone know what is onen? Onen is a person that before they bury the body, a person become onen. That means that he's not allowed to do any mitzvot. You can't study Torah, you can't do nothing. You stand there hanging, you can't say any brachot, you can't do nothing. And I start thinking about it. And only after that I realized that I have to start reading a bit more about the Kaddish, about the law, what is Kaddish, to try to understand what does it mean Kaddish. And when I start reading about it, I start to understand that actually a Kaddish is not just for the Mona. A Kaddish is a prayer that we praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a normal prayer. It's actually the highest prayer that we can have, to pray the Almighty. So if you look at the Kaddish, a Kaddish is a prayer that we praise the Almighty, the higher praise that we can do for the Almighty. The question becomes, how come that the Kaddish is in Aramaic, in a language that's called Aramite in Hebrew, in English you call it Aramaic? How come that it's in Aramaic? There is two opinions for it. The one opinion, that the main reason that we say it in Aramaic, that in the olden days when our sages make the takana to say the Kaddish, the common language was Aramaic. And people could not speak Lashon HaKodesh, that's Hebrew. So they make a takana that even Amei Haaretz can say a Kaddish to praise the Almighty, by keeping it in Aramaic. That's one opinion. The other opinion is that the main reason that we say it in Aramaic, because the angel do not understand the language of Aramaic. So, if they don't understand the language of Aramaic, what difference does it make? Because on a Kaddish, when we say Kaddish, we praise the Almighty. What does it mean we praise the Almighty? We're praising the Almighty in such a level, to such a higher level, that we don't want to antagonize the angel against us. That means that if we start with them, we don't want to make them jealous of us. We don't want any tzoros with the angel. Let's put it this way, in a simple English. We don't want tzoros with them. Keep them quiet. So that's the main reason that we don't say Kaddish in Hebrew. So from here we see two opinions. Where is the source for the Kaddish? There is a lot of sources for the Kaddish. I'm going to bring four. I'm going to start with the prophet Yehezkel. Yehezkel, in his book, he says in chapter 38, verse 23, והתגדלתי והתקדשתי ונודעתי לעיני גויים רבים. From that pasuk that it says והתגדלתי והתקדשתי, we start the Kaddish. התגדל והתקדש. So that's the first source that we have for the Kaddish. The second source for the Kaddish, mentioned in a Gemara in Masechet Brachot, Daf 57:1, and also in a Midrash of Mishle in chapter 10, and it said that the main thing that we can praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu by answering Yeheh Shemeh Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Olmei Olmaya. That the main thing that we can praise the Almighty how? By saying Amen Yeheh Shemeh Rabbah. That's one source. That's the second source. The third source comes from the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, page 119-2. And the Gemara bring our sage Rabbi Yoshua ben Levy, and he said like this: Kol haomer Amen Yeheh Shemeh Rabbah bechol kocho kor'im lo gzar dino. That means that the person that say Amen Yeheh Shemeh Rabbah, if he sinned for 70 years, Rabotai, listen to that, 70 years of sinning, by saying Amen Yeheh Shemeh Rabbah, what it means bechol kocho, our sages ask, the Mefarshim ask, that he mean with a full kavana. Amen Yeheh Shemeh Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Olmei Olmaya. That you say it with full kavana, that the name of the Almighty will be praised forever and ever, and will be unified together. And we explain that when you say that, you should have a kavana, that the Yud-K and the Vav-K, the full name of the Almighty, will come already together, and the Mashiach will be here to bring the Mashiach. So here's the second source for the Kaddish. The fourth source come, and that's actually, by the way, Rabotai, that's the first time that it's mentioned the Kaddish. Before that, it's never mentioned Kaddish. In Masechet Sofrim, just in the end of Perek Tetzayin and in the end of Perek Yutet, it's mentioned there the name of the Kaddish the first time. And how is it mentioned there, the Kaddish? There is a question among the poskim, if a katan, everyone knows what is a katan, a boy that never reached the age of 13, can he join a minyan? Question number one. They ask, can he join to say Baruch Hu et Hashem HaMvorach? There is another thing, that can he join to congregate to read the Torah? If he can join the entire congregation to make 10 people to have a minyan to say, to read the Torah. And then obviously, if he can join a Kaddish and a minyan. So that's the first time that it's mentioned actually the Kaddish. So from here we see that there is 3 sources from the Gemarot and the Mishnayot, and we have a source from the prophet Yehezkel. How many Kaddishim there is? It's a famous question. According to Louis, there is 5. Louis said 5. Hilton? You remember no, Hilton, we have an argument in your office. Hilton says shush. Okay. Hilton, you're going to charge me double. Okay. So I was at Hilton's office and we spoke about it, and we got to a conclusion that actually there is 6, but 5 of them are the main. You remember? So there is 5 main Kaddish. And what are they? We have the Hatzi Kaddish. That means that's a half a Kaddish. And that's Kaddish also known as Kaddish Le'ilah. And he always say, when is it usually said? We say the Hatzi Kaddish after Psukei de Zimra. After we finish Psukei de Zimra, usually after the Amida, we say Hatzi Kaddish. And also usually, when do we say it after Amida? Only after Mincha and Mariv, because in the morning we don't say Hatzi Kaddish. Only after Mincha and Mariv, after Amida, we say a half a Kaddish. Okay, after that we have Kaddish Titkabal. Kaddish Titkabal, it's what we call Kaddish Shalem. It's a full Kaddish. Why is it called Kaddish Titkabal, and when do we say it? We say it usually after Tfilat Shmona Esrei and Shahrit, and Titkabal is to be accepted, that we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to accept our prayer that we daven. That's the main reason that it's called Kaddish Titkabal. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu will accept our praise for whatever we ask. After that, we have Kaddish Yatom. Kaddish Yatom, we also know that that's the Monas Kaddish, Kaddish Yeheh Shelama. Okay, that's Kaddish been said by the Avelim. Okay, and the main reason that they call it Yeheh Shemer Rabba, because that's how it starts. With that Kaddish, there is a lot of minhagim. We spoke about them before. I just repeat it quick. That this Kaddish, usually, in the olden days, and the minhag brought by Yadut Ashkenaz, that one person stand up and he say Kaddish, even that there is another monas, one monas say the Kaddish, and the rest answering Amen Yeheh Shemer Rabba. Our sages saw that that's not going to work, because sometimes people have more, you have in one shul more than one monas, and those monas are going to think, if they're not going to say the Kaddish, Chas v'Shalom, like the parents not going to get benefit. So to avoid any mahloket, any dispute, any variable, they decide that everyone will stand together and say Kaddish. So now we understand why in this shul we're standing all together and we say all the Kaddishim together to avoid any mahloket. That's the main reason. Kaddish number 4, Kaddish de Rabbanan. That's Kaddish al Israel, also known. This Kaddish usually we say, when do we say that Kaddish? That after we finish to learn a Shiur, if we have a Shiur, after we finish, we say al Israel, va'al Rabbanan. Why is that? That we asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu to bless the Talmidei Chachamim, the scholar person, and the people that study Torah, people like you that came here, when we're going to say after that a Kaddish, is to bless all of you. Why? To carry on studying Torah, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give us the strength and the force and the merit to carry on with that holy work. The 5th Kaddish is Kaddish HaGadol. Kaddish HaGadol, what is it Kaddish HaGadol? Kaddish HaGadol, it's the Kaddish that you do after Siyum Masechet. After you finish a Masechet, that when you do Siyum Masechet or when you do Siyum Hashas, remember? Rabbi Wex here finished his Masechet on Shabbos, finish all the Shas. It's a bigger thing. A lot of devoting, you have to be devoted. You say Kaddish HaGadol. Now here there is another Kaddish that we spoke, that we say Kaddish, that we say on a grave. That's Kaddish Tziduk Adin. And that's the Kaddish that me and Hilton spoke about. That's Kaddish number 6, that it's a bit different, that we say when we bury the person, when we bury the deceased. So from here we see that there is 5 main Kaddishim, and number 6 is the Kaddish Lo Alenu, when people have to say when someone passed away. In a Kaddish, there is a mahloket between the Geonim and the Ra'avan. How many praise we're praising the Almighty in a Kaddish? Did you ever thought about it? Remember the mahloket? There is a mahloket according to the Geonim. The Geonim lived around, the time of the Geonim is around 1200, 1500 years ago. That's when was the Geonim. And according to them, there is 10 different praise that we say. And what are they? Yitkadal, Veitkadash, Veitbarach, Veishtabach, Veitpa'ar, Veitnase, Veithadar, Veitale, Veithalal, Shemeh, the Kucha, Berichu. Okay, so according, Veitromam, sorry, I forgot that also. So, yeah, Veitromam, Veitnase. Veitromam, Veitnase, that's right. So from here we see that we have 10 different praise that we're praising HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the question becomes, why Dafka 10? Why Dafka 10 according to the Geonim? So the Geonim say that, as we say in the Mishnah in Masechet Avot, בעשרה מאמרות ברא הקדוש ברוך הוא את העולם. That means, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the entire world by saying, Vayihi Or. Ma'amar, it's when he say that he created the world. By that HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, he created. 10 times he say Vayihi, he created the world. According to the Ra'avan, who was the Ra'avan? Rabbi Eliezer ben Natan. He born 920 years ago in a city of Mint in the northern France. Okay, and he said he doesn't agree with the Geonim. He said the opposite. We have 15. 15 praise in a Kaddish. And what are they? Yitkadal, Vyitkadash, V'yamlich, V'yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnase, V'yithadar, V'yitale, V'yithalal, Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbehata, V'nehemata. According to the Ra'avan, we have 15 praise. And why is that? Dafka 15. He said that when David HaMelech, that wrote for us the book of Tehillim, when he digged the foundation to build the temple, when he moved the stone, that all the water in the world was from it, the water started gushing out to start flooding the world. So, I'm going to make the story short. To stop that water to drop them down, he said 15 Shira Ma'alot. He said for that reason, we have 15 praise that we praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay. We know that the most important is that when the people answer Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah, that's the highest praise that we can do, and that's the most important thing in a Kaddish. When the people answer Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah. So we have to understand, how come that the deceased benefit from it? What does the deceased get from it? So to understand that, we have to understand that in Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah, if we take the word Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah, there is 7 words. Nachon? There is 7 words. Why Dafka 7 words? The question be asked. So we have to go to Sefer Bereshit, Rabotai, and now we're going to link it together. How does Sefer Bereshit start? Bereshit, bara, Elokim, et hashamayim, ve'et haaretz. Here we take an oath, okay? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it was the first creator of earth and heaven. No one before him and no one after him. So Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Olmei Olmai. I also have 7. To show that by that we say Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah, I'm taking an oath that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. Now inside them, we have also 28 letters, those words. The same that Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, to show that there is exactly 28 letters and 7 words, exactly. To take an oath, we taking on ourselves an oath that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the creator. We'll take a bit more time. We're going to try to do the second phase of the Shiur of the Kaddish. Here going to come where is the source that the Mona should say Kaddish? Because in the Kaddish, nothing mentioned about deceased. And that was the famous question. So we're going to bring a few different opinions. The one opinion comes from the story with Rabbi Akiva in a book of Eliyahu Zuta, Perek Yud Zayin, that means chapter 17. And the story goes that when Rabbi Akiva was walking and he saw a person that was very funny carry on himself stick and wood, and he asked him for his name, and that person didn't answer him until Rabbi Akiva took an oath and commanded him to stop. You remember that story? And that man, when he listened the command of Rabbi Akiva, it's Rabbi Akiva, it's not just normal person, he did stop. What's happened there in that situation? Rabbi Akiva asked him, who you are? He said, I'm not amongst the living. So he asked him who you are. He told him that he's actually a person that's still in punishment for all the sins that he done. Rabbi Akiva asked him why, and he explained that he have a forbidden relationship with Isha Me'urasa. Isha Me'urasa, in the olden days, they used to have engagement. When we're saying engagement in the olden days, that's considered as a married woman. Na'ara Me'urasa, that he having a forbidden relationship with a woman that was married. Okay. He said, tell me, did you hear if you have any way that you can do repentance? He said, I hear if I have a son, and the son will say, Baruchu et Hashem Amvorach, or he will answer, Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah, I have a chance that my neshama will be uplifted to Gan Eden. He said, okay, in that case, tell me, did you have a wife? Did you have children? He said, I have a wife. I'm from the north part of Israel. He given him the city. I'm going to make the story short. And do you have a children? I said, look, I don't know if I have kids. When I die, he said to him, my wife was pregnant. That's her name. That's where I lived. And Rabbi Akiva gone to that city, found the wife. And he asked her for the name, and she explained to him. Then she given him the name of the boy. When he found the boy, he actually found a hooligan. A hooligan. And where did he find him? Working in the abattoir. Rabbi Akiva took him, and he saw that this person, whatever you talk to him, nothing penetrating. Rabbi Akiva fasted on him for 40 days, the Midrash said. Later on, he taught him Aleph Bet, the letters, taught him how to read, and then he taught him how to say, how to daven, and how to say Baruchu et Hashem Amvorach, and to answer Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah. I'm going to make the story short. Then came that person to Rabbi Akiva in a dream, and he said to him, the same like you made me happy, may HaKadosh Baruch Hu will make you happy. So from here is a source that people should say Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah to say the Kaddish. Another source to it is from the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, 119 verse 2. We mentioned that it's bring that a person that say Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah, that a person that answer Amen, or the person that say Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah, they're canceling his decrees, the avonot that he done, of 70 years. That means the sins that he done for 70 years. In Shut Arivash, Rabbi Yehuda Bar Sheshat, and his Shut is mean She'elot Utshuvot. That means question and answer. Okay, and Siman Kuf Tet Vav, that means 115. He said that it's a minhag of the mourners to say Kaddish for 12 months. So here is another source why a mourner have to say Kaddish. The Gemara in Masechet Shabbat 152 page 1 tell us that the mishpat, that means that a mishpat is a person that have a mishpat in Gehenna is 12 months. So from here we see another source why a person should say for 12 months a Kaddish. Then I'm going to bring two different sources. The one is, actually both of them is from Harav Haim ben Betzalel. Arav Chaim ben Betzalel, he was the brother of the Maharal Miprag, the famous Maharal Miprag. And his book, Sefer HaChaim, he brings that, how come that it's fit to say Kaddish with a Mona? He said that most of people that are dying, there's one thing that they can't do, it's because the sin of Hilul Hashem. Hilul Hashem is desecrating the name of the Almighty. After that person die, and when his relatives say, Amen Yeheh Shemei Rabbah, accept the deed that deceased die, and he prays HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he doesn't show any anger, he accepted the verdict. By that sin of desecrating the name of Hashem get forgiven to that person. There is another opinion that brought by Sefer HaChaim, that he said that the main reason that a person say Kaddish on his parents or on his relative, that he accepting the verdict. By that he accepting the verdict, that sin's been forgiven. Now we have to understand how is that person benefit, and why do we have to say for 12 months? So the Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Yitzhak Luria HaKadosh said that for the first year when we say Kaddish, it's to help the neshama, to uplift that neshama from where? From Gehenna to Gan Eden for the first 12 months. So you're all going to ask, if that's the case, why do we say every Yotzai at the Kaddish? So the Ari HaKadosh explained that that's to help the neshama to uplift it from one place to a higher level in Gan Eden. Because he's already penetrated Gan Eden. All of it in one condition, that the children didn't done sins, because when the children do sin, they can drop the neshama back to Has v'Shalom, to Gehenna. But by that you say every year a Kaddish on the Yotzai, you uplifting to neshama to a higher level in Gan Eden. To get, for us to understand, to bring us analogy, when we saw a show, Lahavdil, everyone want to be on the front. Why? To see better, the actors. So when you uplifting the neshama in Gan Eden, you're coming closer to the holiness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to enjoy the holiness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The time is 7:30. If you people agree, we'll do the third part, and with that going to conclude. It might going to take another 10-15 minutes. Should we carry on? Mm-hmm. Okay, everyone say yes. How long do we have to say a Kaddish on a Niftar? So there is two opinions of that. There is the opinion of the Rama. The Rama bring in Yoreh De'ah Siman Shin Ayin, that means 370. He said that we say Kaddish for full 11 months. And after 11 months, you stop saying Kaddish. Why? That when you say Kaddish for 11 months, and not 12 months, you show that that deceased is not a Rasha. Because we say that, we brought the opinion of Rabbi Yoshua ben Levy, and we brought the Gemara that said that Mishpat Reshaim begehenam 12 months. So not to show that the deceased is a Rasha, we actually say 11 months. According to the Sfaradim, and it's brought in Birkei Yosef, and Shut Raf Pa'alim, that wrote by Rav Chaim Palagi from Izmir. Izmir is in Turkey, the city of Izmir. And many of the Marana Bet Yosef also, that the Sfaradim should say Kaddish for full 11 months. After that, they stop for a week. After that week, they can continue until the end of the year, and that's how they say Kaddish. So from here, we see two different opinions. The question becomes, is a Kaddish de Rabbanan that we explain, that we say after we're learning Torah, according to both of the Poskim, the great Poskim, the Rama and the Marana Bet Yosef, there is no problem. Even after 12 months, a person can say Kaddish de Rabbanan. That means after Shiur, even that is not his Yotzai, he'll carry on, can say Kaddish de Rabbanan to uplifting the Neshama. Because why? Because we're asking a brocha for the Talmidei Chachamim, and to carry on to be scholar like we explained. Okay, now I'm going to come the most important thing, that how long we have to say a Kaddish for the Yortzeit. So there is two opinions of it. I saw one opinion that say that we should say it for 50 years after the deceased path. Another opinion even more mahmir for 100 years. So from here we see that the day of the Yortzeit is very important to say Kaddish. How do we decide to make the Yortzeit? How has the Yortzeit been decided? When is the Yortzeit day? When you have to say the Kaddish? So according to all the poskim, it's from the day, about I listen to it carefully, it's from the day that the person passed away. Not the day of the funeral, because many people sometimes have to wait for the family to come. No, it's from the day that the person passed away. That's the day of the Yortzeit. That's how it's paskin by all the poskim, and there is no mahloket. And not like some people say, listen, but the Shiva we started, it doesn't make a difference. The day that the person passed away, that's the day that we do the Yortzeit. Yes, Brian?
If you pass away after Myra, it's classified as the next day. So
that's exactly.
On the English date is the 12th, but on the Hebrew date it's actually the next day.
Absolutely. According to us, we always go, if it's already, there is Shkiat Hama, that means sunset, it already, there is a sunset, it's considered as the following day, and that's how it works. Go on. Okay. So now we explain how do we decide the Yortzeit day. Then who's those that we obligated to mourn? So we all know that there is Shiva Krovim, that means the 7 relatives, the father, the mother, the brother, the sister, the son, the daughter, and the wife. Those are the 7 that we have to mourn. Okay. There is a question among the poskim. Here I'm going to bring some she'elot, that means question and answer. There's a shala among the poskim if couples that never have their own children, their own biological children, they're adopted children. And those children, are they obligated to say Kaddish for them or not? So the opinions say, lehalacha, they're not obligated. But it's good for them to say, why? That they can uplift the neshama of the adopting parents. There is another shala in the Shulchan Aruch, and the question is that we know that lo aleinu, when there is a baby that's born, that if he lived for 30 days, we mourn about him. But after he born, if he never stay alive for 30 days, we're not obligated to mourn. Person not supposed to mourn on that little baby. The question become, and that I saw that question and answer by the famous Rav Ovadia Yosef, Zecher Tzadik Vekadosh Libracha. And he asked like this, if a baby born on a 6 months, you remember we asked this question, but he have a help with the incubator. That means that he have a support with the incubator for more than 30 days, even for 2 months. Are we supposed to say Kaddish on him or not? Because after all, he lived more than 30 days. So the question becomes, the answer that Rav Ovadia says, I'm going to make it short, I don't want to go through all these explanations. He said that if a person have a life support of an incubator, you're not obligated to mourn on that baby. Why? Because he got his main support by a machine. You agree with me, doctor? When the baby come, you're a doctor, everyone, we need your help here. Okay, Yisurim. What is Yisurim? When a person gets lo alenu suffering. How does it fit with the Kaddish? That we know that, first let's give it the advice before we start speaking about it. Our sages tell us when a person see that Yisurim ba'im ala adam, when a person see that he have a rough time, not the easy time, he should accept the verdict and should say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I accept what you done to me. I realize because I was wrong. Please have a mercy on me. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will forgive him and those Yisurim will move away. Okay. The Gemara in Masechet Brachot, page 5:1, say, Amar Rish Lakish say, and with that I'm going to conclude and I'm going to link it. Kol ha'osek b'Torah. a person that studied Torah, Yesurim betelim mimeno. What it means, Yesurim betelim mimeno? That by that he studied Torah, accepting the all mitzvot and studying Torah, no more hard time we will have. So I would like to conclude that when we see that Yesurim coming, we should study more in Torah. We should take on ourselves extra more, few minutes, half an hour of extra Torah. But that will help us not to have any suffering. And that's the same when it's come that when we think about the deceased, when we study in his neshama, that means to uplift in his memory, we actually given that deceased a pleasure like we can't imagine what he having. And the Almighty actually stopped the entire world, Rabotai, and said, listen to my children, how they're studying Torah to uplift this neshama. And that neshama have. Remember the story with Eliyahu Zuta, that man was for so many years suffering until his son said, Baruch et Hashem Amvorach and Amen Yeh Shemer Rabba. May please God, we're going to be amongst those that always going to be studying Torah and helping only to do good.